How's it going, everyone? Hope you're having a good start or good end to your long weekend here. Let's go ahead and get into how the market did this week. It was a really choppy, slow grinding week, but there were some movers in certain areas, and hopefully you made it through this week alive. It was a little bit tough. But here's the SPY. We closed at a new all time high, and I preached it on my Twitter late on Thursday that was not good to be short, and that go ahead and it played out to be true. And there's one thing that we want to keep in mind coming into this next week is that it's OPEX, it's the monthly options expiration, and it's also the VIX expiration. And we do have VIX kind of back at this base here. There's the VVIX, and here's the VIX. Interesting that it closed 3 cents below 20. We do have this gap down here. But, OPEX can sometimes bring some tricking and some trapping to come along with it. And so, we want to be careful here. The SPY is at this upper end of this channel that we've been going in now for, the last 3 months or so. And that doesn't really mean that it has to reject, but it's something, that we want to keep in mind. And so anytime we kind of wake up and maybe the market's gapping up and then VIX is also gapping up, so we have that divergence there, that's a day where we maybe want to hedge a bit or even try to short, on that intraday price action if it's there. The SMH led this week, the semiconductors. We had some nice moves in NVIDIA, in MU and LRCX, and a few good moves in some certain names. So hopefully you hopped on board on a couple of those. Those did really well. And they closed at all-time highs. And, this is a good leader of the tech space. And so there's nothing wrong here. And they continue to remain bullish. Q's also closed at a new all-time high. And so, guys, there's nothing really to write home about here. Now, we are going to continue to look at the IWM and the IYT. Neither of them closed at new all-time highs. And so in the big picture, these leading indices continue to start to diverge a little bit, right? They were both leading back here, back in the late summer, and the IWM was even leading, into the end of the year. But, clearly these are outsized, and at some point there's going to be a correction, guys, right? The 20-week moving average is all the way down here, but again, we don't care, right? We play price action, we play the setups. And so right now, guys, I think next week is a week to have caution and think, okay, maybe we can get a pullback, but just play price. And for me, I'm just playing setups, right? I don't really care about this. As long as we're still bullish. The 5-day moving average is still trending up, although it's starting to wane. And so that's just something we need to pay attention to, right? If we end up getting below this 388.50 area that we've been holding, we've kind of been holding this zone here. I mean, that's the first signal that, okay, maybe the market's due to come back and test these highs down here at 385. That's kind of the first major support I'd be looking for. And then after that, maybe we come fill this gap right here, 381.75. So there's a few interesting spots. And then here's the year-to-date VWAP. And this would be kind of the ultimate support. So 380 or just underneath, depending on when we get there. This will keep moving up. But that's kind of the year-to-date VWAP is going to be the most important support. And, if we did, this is hypothetical, but if we ever happen to get below this year-to-date VWAP, I'll be posting on Twitter, and that's where I would actually get a little bit more bearish, okay? Let's quickly recap some stuff we went over last week. We looked at, what did we look at? Fiverr. So we mentioned this could go parabolic, given its really good earnings report and the fact that it ended up getting over this upper channel, and so we put together that this news and then this resting candle on Friday looked really good for a parabolic move, and that's exactly what we got. So that was a really great turnout on Fiverr. We also looked at snow, and so snow did get a move here, obviously, but it came right into this view up from the high again and went right back down. So there was a play there, but nothing crazy. We talked about D-Dog and how it might need a rest before going up, and so it did come down and it tested the exact level that we talked about today and finished on the high. This is one that I think we can continue to look at into next week for more upside. We talked about Chewy and how this also might need a little more rest, but it was looking really good to kind of continue to new all-time highs out of this wedge, right? It had broken up here, and so it did just that. It flagged for a few days, and we were able to catch a nice trade on this on the breakout, and it was beautiful. Yeah, nice high volume breakout, and it is right at this resistance here, but I think we can maybe continue a little higher on Chewy given the length of the base here. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go for another day or two before needing some rest. Looking at next week, I have 4 setups here that I'm looking at. First one is POLA. This one is not necessarily an immediate setup, but it has really nice accumulation patterns here, a lot of good gap ups that end up holding. And let's just put this on log so it doesn't look like it's parabolic, because it's not. And so yeah, it's come up and put in this high, and it's just starting to wedge really smartly here. You can see this was the last kind of major breakout, major change of character here, and so we throw a VWAP on from there, and we held it here, and then as we've come down from this high, we continue to hold that area, and right, you can kind of see that buyers are just picking it up, and so this is one to keep an eye on. I think if we can get up, so what we want to see preferably is some sort of impulsive low that gets put in, like a red to green day, and it looks pretty strong, and then we get up here and we maybe consolidate in the upper end of this range like this, right? And then we end up breaking that flag above this 21 area. We have this resistance area here, and so what we'd want to do is get above that 21 area and then begin holding there. You can see whenever we get above it, it's quickly within about 30 minutes to an hour back below. And so if we saw that holding, that would be kind of our signal to go long, and we could probably get a really nice multi-day move out of that. LMND, Lemonade, is the next one I want to look at. This one's had a really nice long base here and really bullish chart, just great bullish chart. And the 20-day moving average is just starting to curl up again after some of these days up here get taken out of the last 20 days. And we finally, so this view up from the high, we've never been able to really close a day above it. And every time we get above it, if you look at the 30-minute, it's a very quick flush up and flush down. And so it's never really able to actually come down, test it, and hold. But we put in this really impulsive low that we haven't seen in other places down here, and we came up and we flagged just underneath it, right, which we never really did on any of these other times. It was always just a really impulsive move through it and back below, and we finally came down, tested, made a higher high. 5-day trend is nicely up, 20-day trend is turning up, and so this is one I really like, and it's got, I believe, a 22% short float. And so this is one that I think can go to new all-time highs in the next week. AYRO, same deal. This one also had a really nice base. Broke up. They had a stock offering on this day, which was Thursday, this resting, so we gapped down. But I just want you to pay attention to the way it acted after this news, right? Buyers just stepped right back in. And we can see that on Friday we got above this VWAP at 9.6, and buyers were picking it up there. And so I think what we want to pay attention to, excuse me one sec, there we go. What we want to pay attention to here is kind of just continue to build energy here for a little bit next Tuesday. And I think this one is also looking to go higher. Maybe it needs a little bit of time here, but I don't know. This is one that can have really nice moves, And so I think you just want to pay attention to this one on more of an intraday chart and have your intraday VWAP there. And we want to make sure that it's holding nicely, maybe a nice bull flag above that VWAP to enter that trade. Okay, last one, UAVS. So UAVS, this one was a nice base as well above this 20-day moving average. Didn't quite base long as long as some of those other setups, and so I don't place quite as much importance on this setup. I think the other ones are probably a bit better, but it came down right from this high after making a new high. It came and bounced really nicely off the 20-day and then had an inside day today. And so I think what we want to pay attention to here is it's riding this 5-day moving average, and it's flagging really nicely under these VWAPs from the high. And so I think if we can kind of see this on Tuesday when we come back, if we can see this actually get above these at about $15 and then come down, test, and find buyers, I think you see more new all-time highs in UAVS. Maybe they make a run for $20. Okay. Hopefully you guys were able to use some of those setups last week, and hopefully if you guys like these, you'll make these your own in the next trading week. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Like, subscribe, do all that, and appreciate you.